Hey, my name is Paul Anzac. You might know me from, of course, my YouTube, Montana Wolf Trapper. You might know me from the TV show Mountain Man. But anyways, one thing I am a trapper. I've trapped for now, this is my 48th season. I've been getting a lot, as my social media is growing and my YouTube is growing, I'm getting a lot of new trappers that are reaching out to me for help online through text messages, stuff like that. And it's frustrating for me to try to explain a few things through text message, and I can't teach anybody how to catch a coyote through text message or even a phone call. A lot of it is hands-on. So what we're going to talk about today is just a common dirt hole set. I'm not going to go into great details of all kinds of crazy stuff on coyote trapping. I'm going to keep everything really, really basic for the beginner. And that way nobody's getting confused, hopefully not anyways, as to how to go ahead and catch a coyote. I want to shorten your learning curve as much as possible is what I want to do. Let's go and talk a little bit about equipment here and what I use. So let's start out with the trap. My favorite trap so far is the Duke 650. It pretty much comes ready to go almost right out of the box. The only thing I really do to it is I add a swivel in the center. I take one link out, then I add that swivel. So I have 3 swivel points on my trap right there. You gotta anchor your trap, and you always anchor your trap for the biggest animal you're possibly gonna catch. I like using the 1/8-inch cable. Most of my coyote trapping, especially in this open country here, I stake everything down. When I'm in the timber, I might go ahead and use a drag. Drags, the heavier the better. The light drags that can bounce and all of that, those ain't no good. About a 10-foot chain to 12-foot chain is about all you're gonna need. This is the number 3 chain, and that'll be sufficient. I get a lot of questions on length of cable stake. Length of cable stake is all going to depend on your ground. Mine right here, when it's finished, it's about 12 inches. That's because my ground is really, really super hard. If I was going to be trapping, let's say, some turned fields in Iowa or something like that, I'm going to probably have to go with a longer cable. So cable size and length. Cable size of 1/8 of an inch, but the length is going to vary on your ground. A driver, and I've used a lot of different kind of drivers throughout the years. I don't know what the name of this driver is. I'm sorry, but you could get it at Funky Trap Supply. This by far, I've drove about 300 trap stakes this year, and this driver was brand new, and it's all it has happened is it mushroomed just a little bit. This is a phenomenal driver, and I highly recommend it. This hammer you can get from F&T, this Freedom brand. So far, it's unbreakable. I go through a lot of hammers. I've been through a lot of hammers, but this one right here is holding up 2 years now. So I probably drove, I don't know, maybe 500 stakes with this hammer, and it's still in really, really good condition. Sifter. You need a nice sifter. If you're sifting sand and stuff like that, you might want to go with smaller grate on that. But this is just an aluminum sifter. You can get this from Funky Trap Supplies. This is, I built this. This is for my pan covers. For trap pan covers, I use coffee filters. And anyways, they work just fine. You could use whatever you want. If you want to go ahead and use wax paper, use wax paper. If you want to go ahead and use muffin cups, use muffin cups. Use whatever works for you. Screen, some guys do what's called an underall, goes underneath the pan. All of that stuff works. It's whatever you want to use. For a dirt hole, what we're going to do today, this is just, of course, a drill, and then I believe this is a 2-inch auger right here. So that's basically the equipment. If I could think of anything else as I'm putting this set in, I'll go ahead and reference to it. But let me think. Lures. We'll talk a little bit about lures and bait. I'm not going to cover too much. Most of the stuff that's on the commercial market is good. I sell bait and lure. I'm not going to go ahead and market my stuff right here, and try to sell you anything off of me. I use all different kinds of stuff. Everything from Dunlap to Kendall Obermeyer to EJ Kelly stuff. Just all different kinds of lures work fine. Russ Carmen's Gland lures are awesome. So anyways, let's go ahead and put in a set. Let's talk a little bit about location. First of all, you got to be on location when you're trapping coyotes. That's just a no-brainer. You got to be in the spots where the coyotes are coming through. Coyotes do change pattern throughout the season. Different things can make them change pattern. It could be a deer hunting season. It could be dispersal when the pups leave the family unit and different things like that. So throughout the season, coyotes are going to go ahead and change pattern. Also, coyotes don't just live on a 40-acre lot, okay? Coyotes are constantly traveling in search of food and whatnot. So the coyote's food has feet, so the coyote always has to move. So some of your coyotes might be on a 1 week cycle. So if you don't catch something or see tracks or something like that for 5, 6, 7 days, don't panic, don't give up, keep your traps out. The biggest mistake a guy can make is pulling his traps way too early. I believe setting too many traps on a piece of property can go ahead and spook the coyotes out, and it can cause more problems than good. More is not good with coyotes. Small amounts of lure is all that is needed. Their noses are very, very, very good. So you don't have to use a lot of lure. Even after it rains, if it rains real hard, your trap is underwater, yeah, maybe you want to go ahead and refix things up and then rebait lure. But a little bit of rain's not going to wash that lure out or nothing. So a little bit of lure goes a long way. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about location. Fence corners are awesome for location. We got a gate right here. We got a long running fence there. We got a fence going down there. We got a 2-track road there. And we got another fence going right there. So this is all really generally an awesome location. What I would look for in this location here, of course, is tracks. And then I want to go ahead and look for scat. Sometimes if I don't find scat or tracks, I will still set it up just because of the location. And I call it fishing for coyotes. And so I'll go ahead and make a few sets just to see if I'm going to catch anything. So anyways, when I'm making the set, I want to be looking into the wind, okay? The prevailing wind, okay? So the prevailing wind is coming from this way right here. That's how I make my set. I'm going to put my face into the wind, and that's how I'm going to make the set. We're going to go ahead and make a dirt hole set. Now, there's different variations of dirt hole sets. I'm going to show you the basic, get you started, entry-level dirt hole set to go ahead and get you rolling as far as catching coyotes. You're going to learn more and more as the season goes on and as the years go on as you trap. But my goal is for you to catch your first coyote or help you catch your second or third coyote. So let's go ahead and make a set. Okay, seeing we're going to be doing a basic dirt hole set. I'm not even going to mention the other variations of dirt holes. I'm going to do a basic dirt hole set. I want backing behind my dirt hole because I don't want that coyote to come in from the back side. I'm not even going to mention the other kind of dirt holes, okay? But we're going to do this one right here like this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dig. This is my method, the way I set my dirt holes up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dig my trap bed. Just like so. That trap bed's going to go down deep right here like this. Now, if you look at it right here, it's got a two-step. This is dug deep right here, kind of in an oval shape like that to fit my trap. I got a hard ridge right here. I leave that hard ridge. That hard ridge is really, really important because when a coyote comes in to go ahead and try to dig my bait out, I don't want him to be pulling this back and then pulling my trap out of the bed. Right there is where I'm going to go ahead and put my dirt hole. I'm going to leave that dirt just like it is right there for now. I stake my trap directly underneath the trap. That's where my stake goes. That goes on to the end of my, this is a wolf fang. This one here is made by No BS. It's a No BS anchor. Okay, so put my trap pan the weight down like that. See how my trap pan is sticking up like that? I need to go ahead and adjust that so the pan sits lower. With the Duke 650, I just stick my driver right there. Give it a slight bend. There, now the trap pan is sitting down where it needs to be. I run my dog to the right, and then I put the trap dead center in front of the hole. I'm kneeling off to the side so you can see visually what I'm looking at. My trap bed is made into a bowl. It's not flat. That is really, really important, okay, that it's made into a bowl. Because if it sits flat, then you got to pack dirt around that trap to go ahead and get that trap to be solid. If it's in a bowl, then you're just putting pressure here, here. It's sitting on maybe 6 different points on that trap, and then it don't take much to make that trap solid. You don't want to have to add dirt to make your trap solid. If you add dirt to make your trap solid, then as soon as you get the first rainstorm, then what's going to happen is that trap is going to loosen up. So if it's solid when you put it down in there, like so, that's solid without me even adding any kind of dirt to it. All I did is give it a little twist, and it's solid. Okay? So now if it rains or something like that, that water's not going to go ahead and erode around the trap and loosen your trap up. Right now, if you're in freezing conditions, is when you want to go ahead and start adding your wax sand. The wax sand would go in first, and then the trap, and then wax sand on top of it. We're not going to do wax sand right about now. So now is the point where I would go ahead and I would go ahead and use my pan cover. Pan cover goes down like that. Before I go ahead and bury this trap, I want to go ahead and show you just how low I am according to the grade right here. That's really low. That's almost 4 fingers low in between here. You can see the difference right there. That's pretty far down there. That's really, really important as far as I'm concerned. All right, so I'm gonna take this dirt right here, and this is gonna be my sifting dirt. The rubble, like that, gets thrown off to the side. I know there's about 3.5 pounds pressure, pan tension to go ahead and set that trap off, so I don't have to worry about getting my fingers snapped at all. And if it does, it ain't gonna hurt. I keep finding my pan. There's my pan. Keep throwing that off. There we go. You're gonna think there's quite a bit of dirt on top of that when there really, really isn't that a lot of, there's not that much dirt. So now this dirt right here that's inside the hole, I'm just gonna pull that out just like that. The dirt hole needs to be as deep as you possibly can make it. The deeper the better. So there's the dirt hole. That's the construction of the dirt hole right there. I want to keep everything real hard ground on the sides right here and loose right there in the center. Okay, I want to be able to, that coyote to be standing right here and not worry and not feel loose ground. I want that coyote to go, and then when he steps down into that little right in here, that's when he's going to hit that loose ground. So what you might want to do is go ahead and just take a little bit of rubble and just kind of block that right side just a little bit. Coyotes have a tendency to come in and stand right here and look into the hole, or dig at it or whatever. So now would be a good time to go ahead and add your bait and your lure. Take your gloves off that you use to construct a set with, and grab your bait and lure. We're gonna use Kendall Obermeyer's Crazy Horse on this one. How much bait do I use? That's always a question. I use about that much right there. Might be a little bit, but I use about that much right there. Everything I'm gonna put in there, everything I'm gonna use at this set for smells goes into the hole. Everything. I don't go ahead and put nothing up here. No long distance call, no gland lure. If I am gonna put gland lure, I'm gonna put gland lure right there in the hole. Coyotes are gonna wanna roll on everything. I like the bait that will trigger that rolling reaction. But you don't wanna go ahead and have your lure or bait that causes a rolling reaction. You don't want it anywhere up here. You want it all down the hole. Because if a coyote wants to roll on it, that means he really, really wants it. And so he's going to have to dig that out to go ahead and bring it out to roll on it. So the initial smell is going to want him to roll on it, but in order to roll on it, he's got to pull it out. So that's going to cause the digging reaction. And so that's what's going to get you to go ahead and catch that coyote, is that digging reaction. I don't use sheep's wool, and here's the reason being. I've had more trouble with sheep's wool or anything like that down in the hole from ravens. Ravens have a tendency to come in, they'll smell it, and then they'll come in and they'll pull that sheep's wool out, and it'll be laying out here somewhere. So I don't use sheep's wool anymore. Another question I get is the distance from the hole or the smell or the attractant to your trap. To me, it's like 7 to 9 inches for coyotes. The angle of the hole, though, is what's going to dictate on how close you put your trap. If the hole is more angled up more, I would go a little bit closer with the trap. You notice my trap is right back in here. That's further than 9 inches. If you look at the angle of my hole is more on a horizontal type of more of a horizontal angle. The trick to coyote trapping is if you can go ahead and get their nose to a certain spot, you can place their feet. That's what's really important. So to understand is getting that nose to a certain spot. Cover-up scents. Cover-up scents do not work for canines, okay? If they worked for canines, the drug cartels would be using it to go ahead and smuggle all their drugs over the border into the United States. Because coyotes, the way coyotes and other dogs and other dogs, wolves, coyotes, and dogs, the way they smell, they separate smells. They can separate them out. Urine works great. I ain't using no urine this year at all. I'm replaced that with a gland lure. That causes, of course, the urinary reaction, which is a territorial reaction. Misting fox urine. I've heard this one. Mist fox urine all over your set. That's going to go ahead and cover up any of the human odors or something like that. To me, that's BS. First of all, because coyotes and canines, they can separate smells. And why would you want that fox urine misted all the way or all over the set? You want that nose to be in one single little location where you can go ahead and place that foot on the trap. If your trap is bedded solid and it's staked tight, you know what I mean, you should have no trouble catching coyotes. Just wait them out. That is the big thing, is just waiting them out. Guys get too impatient waiting to have that coyote come through. A good dirt hole set has caught more coyotes than I believe than any other set that's out there. So I think I covered just about everything. I tried to go through my head and think of all the different things that people have asked me lately, and I really hope that this helps some people out as far as catching coyotes. Right, guys, I hope this helps. I really do. But like I said, I've been getting a lot of people asking me a lot of questions, sending me pictures of different sets and all kinds of stuff. I really want to help, but it's really hard to help over text message. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video and show you. I'm going to leave this trap out for the next couple days. I hope I go ahead and catch a coyote on it. We're going to pull traps here in a few days, and we'll be out of here. I'll be heading back to Northwest Montana. But I hope this helps somebody out. There's a lot of new trappers out there. If you're really going to get serious about trapping, I'm an instructor at the Fur Takers College. It's through the Fur Takers of America. It's a 1-week course in September. Google it, look it up. It's an awesome course. It could take you from start to finish as far as coyote trapping and everything else. Another way to go ahead and learn is to go on another trapper's trap line. Even if you got to pay the $150, $200 to have him take you on his trap line, a functioning trap line, to show you what to do, is invaluable. Years and years of me driving around in my truck, wasting fuel and time trying to figure this stuff out. And you could be all shown that in one day just for $100, $200, something like that. It's worth every penny, guys. Join your state and national trappers association, Fur Takers America, National Trappers Association, whatever state you're from. Start going to the rendezvous. A lot of demos and demonstrations and stuff like that, where they teach people how to trap. So anyways, get involved with anything that has to do with your state levels as far as trapping goes, as fur bearers management. We need more younger people stepping up and help promoting our heritage and what we love to do. So until the next one, I appreciate you guys, and yeah, tight chains.